lot of the time in social media and on courses, social housing and supported living and supported housing are drummed down the same avenue, but actually they're
Very
completely
different.
different things.
Yeah, they're very, very different things, so these two names get confused. You know, I remember Right to Buy coming in the 80s. I was a first time buyer in the 80s, massively encouraged by Margaret Thatcher and the belief that I could get on my bike and create a life for myself. That makes me sound extraordinarily old, but that's when I bought my first property. And I did buy it on the back of what they were saying. And I didn't come from a council house background. I came from a private rented background during my childhood. So I wasn't coming from money, but I could actually see the advantage of allowing people to buy their own homes. I don't think Margaret Thatcher at that point intended that policy to still be in place 45 years later. And as Hunter Houses have recently been appointed as a residential asset manager for a fund, I can't see how any asset manager who owned a portfolio, as the UK government did, would decimate it continuously to the level they have. Because I've seen live examples where you have to give the local authority the right to buy the property back from you if you sell within a certain term, and it varies from authority to authority, but they haven't got the cash to buy it back. And so what we've got now is, these fabulous council house estates, social housing estates that were built after the war with lovely big plots, all of it. How many of them are now privately owned? Probably in the region of 75%.
Yeah.
So for me, social housing is housing provided particularly by the government, owned by the government, and where there is no criteria for being an occupant of one of those houses other than there is one available for you, whether you're a single person or a family.
Yes.
Supported is about the support around the person. And I think the phrases social and supported get pushed together
They do.
and they don't actually mean the same thing. So when I hear people say, oh, well, my council's the local authority in my area is going to rent the property from me as social housing, so my rent will be guaranteed and I won't have any problems. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
No, it isn't.
And it's caused confusion. And I think it's caused confusion to the point where it's now bordering on being really risky.
Yeah.
That's my concern, is there's so much non-factual information out there. I get calls. I've had a call promoting supported living, social housing to me, where if I got involved, I could charge rent at 2.65 times the market rate. And I mean, obviously, once I challenged that, he hung up on me. But it's out there.
It is, sadly, and people get sucked in, and that's the really sad thing, isn't it,
It
John?
is. It is a
People,
sad
investors
thing.
who don't know, actually get sucked into these things.
There are massively, I'm not saying everybody should be altruistic and not want to do anything other than just for the right reasons. You don't become a buy-to-let landlord to support or take over the role of the government. You become a buy-to-let landlord usually with a long-term intention for your financial security, for your own family and for yourself. But I think it's been a very tough time from 2016, really, through to current day, with the amount of regulations that landlords have to face. But I think the market needs to be regulated. The market needs to be compliant. So I don't disagree with the principle of it. But if you set out with the intention of complying with decent home standards and making sure your certification is right, your property is safe, and live the way you would want to live, then it's not a hard practice to get used to.
No.
But I think as far as the investor market is concerned at the moment, I just wish there was some way of saying to people, if you're not sure what you're doing, if you're not sure what's right, you're not sure who you can trust, contact NAPSA, as the client did last week, who then came to speak to me. Contact NAPSA. Try, and if you don't want to do that, use someone that's been referred to you that someone else has been dealing with for a long time. Not someone who's bought a house from someone last week, someone who's actually seen the whole process through. Um, and can look back and say, this is the person I used 2 or 3 years ago, or the person I consistently use. Um, because I think this qualification of social supported, I think a bit like this sourcing market, it needs a framework.
Yeah.
It needs a strict framework.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.